You don't forget the date, you don't forget the time, you don't forget how it played out. I was 8 years old. It was September the 6th, 1999. We were in a doctor's room, GP surgery. I just had a urine sample and a blood test. The urine sample had immediately flagged something to be aware of, so it had ketones in it. I always remember my mum's reaction. My mum burst into tears. The question is, what's going on, Mum? And I'm like tearing up as an 8-year-old, and am I going to die? Because that is, when you see your parents get upset, that was exactly where my head went. Incredibly hard, incredibly emotional first few days. But the light for me was being able to play football. And as an 8-year-old, after the first question about am I going to still be alive, was am I still going to be able to play football? And when they said yeah, you still be able to play, that was it. And I clung on to that like nobody's business. And by the end of that week, I was diagnosed on the Monday, and on the Friday night, I actually played 15 minutes for my team. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't back to normal. There was no normal in it, but it was more than a statement of defiance that I wasn't going to let this condition stop me playing the sport that I love playing. The immediate starting point was a lot of learning and a lot of challenges. I always tried to do the best I could with my football, but at the very start, I was just so inconsistent. 1 week I'd be able to play fine, and then the next week couldn't. Something would go wrong, my performance would suffer, and I just would be a shadow of my usual self. I think for me, football was always a saving grace. I used it as such a positive tool, maybe a coping mechanism, some may say, because I practiced really hard at my football. I wanted to get better all the time, and maybe the positivity of that and some of the achievements and some of the things that I got to do along the way maybe masked some of the pain and some of the hurt that I had around the condition. It gave me also a place to forget. You think you get on a football pitch or a futsal court, all you can really focus on when you're playing is the sport. So I don't have all of these other thoughts going around in my head about what level am I, what time was my last injection, what food do I need to eat, am I going low now, do I need to have something, what's going to happen in half an hour. All of these management decisions about trying to just keep myself in a place that means I'm the normal for me, I'm not feeling bad or anything, they go away because you can just concentrate on the sport. And for me, the football was always that saving grace of doing that for me. Yeah, I can remember my first ever Wales call up for a national team. It's one that you never forget. I think it becomes more special when you live with something like I live with, because you don't ever think that that's an opportunity that you'll get. There's very few people on the planet that have represented their nation in any sport living with type 1 diabetes. So to have that chance was incredible, something I'll never forget. Emotional, because you can imagine I spent 18 years living with a condition thinking this is never going to be possible. Through hard work, perseverance, learning about my condition, working with it, all of a sudden it became a possibility. A huge amount of gratitude for having the opportunity to play for Wales, just incredible. My one piece of advice for anyone living with type 1 diabetes, it's probably involved in any kind of sport, is to just keep playing, just enjoy it. That's the main thing for anyone, is to be having fun. And then also looking towards the fact that if you've got everything around you that you need, your insulin pump or insulin injection, your hypo treatments and your monitoring, you're always never going to be too far away from being able to resolve an issue. And then the key from resolving those issues is learning. And that's one thing that one of the biggest things is always see it as an opportunity to learn. So I see a mistake that I make with my diabetes as a bad pass, rather than a dramatic thing that means that I should stop doing this altogether. Yeah, I might feel a bit crummy or a bit rubbish from a period of time because I made a mistake with my diabetes, but if I over dramatise that, I'll never do the sport again. So for me, it's about seeing it as a bad pass, because you wouldn't give up playing football or futsal because of one bad pass. So you've got to see a mistake that you make with your diabetes as that bad pass. So for me, it's about learning from mistakes as well.